Yo! Come one, come all. Nothing but love, nothing but respect. You know what we do, what we don't, what we is, what we isn't. And what we is here today, bringing you guys and girls chapter 1073. Holy shit, 1073 of One Piece. Yo, how the actual hell are we all the way up to 1073 already? It feels like just the other month that we were at chapter 1000. Wow. This is actually is really wild to me. It's just one of those things where it's like so surreal to have been going through so many chapters so fast. But hey, I'm excited. Let's get into the greatness that is this chapter. Alright, so we're picking off, continuing along with the Vinsmoke cover story, Germa 66's Cold-Blooded Voyage, Volume 29. Awarded the Ibel... Is that a nod on the Nobel? The Ibel Peace Prize for developing the GP flower. A flower that blooms in gunpowder. Yo! That actually... No, think about that. That's actually a really good invention. Like, in a really warped way, right? Because... You could reseed and repopulate, like, whole battlefields that have been attacked and damaged, and stuff like that. Ooh. Hang on a second. The stream's saying we're getting no data for the minute. Come on. Come back to health. Come back to health. Alright, if anyone's in the chat, let me know whether or not, this is, still working or not. It says I've got no connection, but I can still see the fresh feed coming up, so I'm going to assume that it's working for the moment. Otherwise, YouTube might be doing some weird stuff. But I love this. This is a great invention. You can reseed. It's like what Aramaki did at the end of Wano, reseeding and repopulating the whole Kuri district and stuff like that. I think this is a really cool invention, but it's also drop dead hilarious how last chapter they were all fighting over like their weapons and that, and they look so disgusted at Vegapunk for having been awarded the Ibel Peace Prize, right? But at the same point in time, like, I can't tell if they're disgusted because he got an award and they didn't, or if they're disgusted because he does stuff about peaceful stuff while they're all out there trying to do weapons. But yo, look at Caesar! Lord Farquaad Caesar, the young man. Look how skinny and dopey looking that man is. Wait. Caesar's got them horns. Is Caesar one of the same weird species as those sheep people from Skypiea? I wonder if they're half mink. That would be an interesting thing to look at. Half minks. Because we've got half fishmen. It'd be odd that they're all like lamb or like goat based. But that is still very interesting. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of the chapter. Lucci's reaction to betrayal. Yeah, Kaku is down. This is a bitter pill to swallow. Yo, and he just goes for the kill. Look at that. Also, I love how Finger Pistol doesn't like in base form. Finger Pistol doesn't have Haki on it, but whenever he uses Finger Pistol in his hybrid form, it has Haki on it. Right? The reason that's an interesting thing to note is although his hybrid form already has the sharp nails, so you'd assume it could just stab through stuff. It actually makes it somewhat consistent with pre-time skip Rob Lucci, where Rob Lucci could use Finger Pistol and it wouldn't hurt Luffy, but when he went into his hybrid form, it would hurt Luffy, right? So whether or not it was retconned or not, in your mind, that Lucci had Haki pre-time skip, it is stated that he did, right? So at least Oda's doing some decent effort here at keeping it somewhat consistent so it's not too confusing. Even though it might be confusing for some people. Paper Buddy is back, baby! Ooh, if you have been with me on this channel, on this journey for a minute, you know I've been out here all day, every day, advocating for Paper Body to come back. With observation hierarchy, it would be the front and foremost, most important type of the 6 powers to use. Like, I'm sorry, Fuguru and shit like that, we're out here acting like goddamn Katakuri pre-time skip. Give them good observation hierarchy now, and they ain't gonna be much different to Katakuri right now, in terms of defensive and evasive ability. Ooh, I love this shit. Paper arts. Heartbreak after image. Ooh, so when you don't understand, your first instinct is go for the kill. My. What?! She's got sea stone lipstick! My, you're so wild. Sea stone. Yo! Did she just load it from both? Yo, cuckoo, Karu. You bitch! I know how strong you boys are. Fighting you fair and square would have been stupid. Cuckoo, forgive me. Yo, she finessed the shit out of them! Whew. Wait a minute. Does that mean she doesn't have a devil fruit? And she's just genetically modified? Because is that the same lipstick that's around her lips? Wait a minute. Is that a separate thing of lipstick? Like she's got her normal lipstick and she's got a spare thing of lipstick that's just the sea stone? Just to do shit like this? Or is her actual lipstick sea stone lipstick, but it's either a weak enough concentration that she can use her seemingly devil fruit powers, or she doesn't have a devil fruit, she's just genetically modified? But she still has it, so she can do this. Because if her ability is to bite people, and it's like a genetically altered thing, or like a gene-related thing, or a species-related thing, and it's not a devil fruit. If she's got sea stone lipstick, and she bites you, she could sort of get some sea stone inside your body, and just like, it's essentially sea stone poisoning, so you can't use your fruit. Yo! This is wild. Forgive me. What? Just a moment. What is this? Why are the CP0 agents at each other's throats? Friendly fire, huh? This is Stussy. I put them both to sleep. I called it! It should have been simple for a lot of people out there, but I called it. I stood by it. I was right. I'll take that certificate now. I'll take that award, alright? You can wear your wrong thongs and sing your wrong songs, you ding-dongs. This is Stussy. I put them both to sleep. That's fantastic news. Stussy came through. York, pull it together. Yeah, and York is asleep and eating again. She's on another eat-sleep cycle. Huh? What's going on? Rob Lucci was beaten? No doubt he was taken by surprise. Her loyalty to me was kept secret even after she spent 20 years as one of their agents. You had a mole in the intelligence branch? It wasn't our intention, but that's how it turned out. Yo. The cheekiness that Robin's sitting there, and at the back of her mind, she's like, yeah, the world's best intelligence agencies? You got a mole in there? They can get out of here with that shit. Yo. Doctor, unfortunately my authority level is at the same level as Lucci's, so I can't override his orders. And stop the Seraphim. You've done plenty, Stussy. We're on our way. Yo, they really finesse them. We need to stop those runts before they flatten the others. Right. And is it just me? Or do those kids look familiar? I know, especially that one. So they're talking about the Jinbei one, are they? Or are they talking about the Kuma one? Or are they supposed to say especially those ones? Because they're showing Kuma and the Jinbei one. And those would be the only two that Brook and Zoro know. Or, and the Mihawk one, I guess. Fui. They won't stop blowing holes in the lab. Though I suppose we can use those extra exits to get out faster. And I'm out. Hey, Seraphim, listen. Yo, baby Hawk got no chill. No chill. Man saw his target and it was like, kill him. Man came in red hot. Dude, she didn't even finish her sentence. Man flipped around. Man flipped and dived for the kill. Yo, Lilith shat herself too. Look at that. And I'm out. Hey, Seraphim, listen. Yo, he hears darts to it. Zoro blocks. Crazy explosion there. On closer inspection, you're not the same. You actually have a spark of humanity still. That has me fucking speechless for a second there. Two things. Two very important things here, ladies and gentlemen. Number one. Baby Hawk looks shook as shit. My man's sweating. My man looks like Rayleigh versus Kizaru. You're a little puffed. You're a little out of his comfort zone for this one in particular. But number two. Does my boy Zoro understand at this moment in time, in this beautiful freeze frame in the story? Is my boy out here just like, yo, my sensei, my boss, my teach, Mihawk senpai? The man is suffering from success. He's the top of his game, and it's made him a heartless piece of shit. Because look, you still have a spark of humanity still. My boy Zoro out here said, that Mihawk man, he a heartless son of a bitch. He a S-O-B. What the hell are you? That was a shock. Leave it to me. Seraphim, quit it. Yeah, and the Jinbei one is shooting a laser right at old mate. Stop fighting immediately. The explosion goes off. Did Edison get hit? Edison! No, he can't be. Oh, where was Sanji? Sanji was coming from behind. Sanji dipped in and saved him. Look at that, man! You looking for this? That was close. Edison! Yeah, she ain't so evil. She got a little bit of love in her. The Seraphim finally listened. Can someone tell me what these things are? Shaka, I've bound Lucci and Kaku with sea stone. Wait a fucking minute. Are y'all gonna leave them, like, if they... no, they didn't want to destroy the lab, so they're not gonna do a buster call on this island. Stussy, you're an evil, evil lady, and I love it. I am here for it. Much obliged, Stussy. We're leaving the island. You should come with us. Understood. Hey, you can't keep adding people. Yo, I am all for. I am actually all for this entire group of people coming with us. All the Edisons, bring them. Stussy, bring her. Seraphim? I mean, if we add him to the Grand Fleet, can Vegapunk still manipulate them at this point? That is an interesting thing to ponder. Hey Bonnie, where'd you go? Old man Punk. We can't leave without you. A truly unexpected development. Dr. Vegapunk's main stellar body has vanished. Old man! Oh, we're at Sphinx Island. Wait, we're at Sphinx Island! There is only one reason. There is only one damn reason that we'd be cutting back to Sphinx Island right now. And I'm sitting here playing with like a spare bit of controller because I'm just so nervous about this because I don't know if I can read this, right? Because I've been waiting for this for so fucking long. But if we're at Sphinx Island, that means we're getting Marco because Marco returned to Sphinx Island. We didn't see Marco get into Sphinx Island, right? But the plot line involving Sphinx Island also revolved around the real Miss Buckin. The real Miss Buckin. And Whitebeard Jr., Edward fucking Weevil. Oh, lordy, 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 lord. Alright. I ain't ready for this, I don't think. Sphinx. New World. Whitebeard's hometown. Marco, it was so scary. Not for me, I wasn't scared. Oh, have they come and left already? There were Marines all over the place. Oh, okay, no, the Marines attacked, okay. I'm real sorry, kids. Yoi. I didn't mean to leave you in such a bad spot. It's not your fault, Marco. Those Marine meanies were the worst. They said they were here for Whitebeard's treasure. They were just like pirates. If you play nice, you won't get hurt, okay? Remember, this place isn't government affiliated. You have no legal rights here. Why is this dude just the New World version of Nezumi? Like, talk about a long callback. This feels like we're back at bloody Arlong Park. Remember, this place isn't government affiliated. You have no legal rights here. Kia! Whitebeard must have kept all his treasure here. If you don't tell us, we'll consider it an act of defiance. I could shoot you all one by one. Yeah, this isn't what I was expecting this to be what Weevil was doing, not what the Marines were doing. I could shoot you all one by one. If you think that'll make you more talkative. Yo, and the kids are crying. There's no treasure here. Stop pointing that gun at my little brother. You really won't treat us as fellow humans just because we can't pay the government, you monsters. Are you sure it's wise to act tough when Marco's not around? Who are you? Who are you? Right? Are you sure it's smart to act tough when Marco's not around? Who the fuck are you? If Marco was here, mate, you would be on all fours. Yes, sir. Please, sir. Whatever I can do, sir. You'd be like the... Oh, I don't know if I can make that joke, actually. You'd be like Mr. Garrison's gerbil, buddy. Doing whatever Marco says. Hold her still. Kia, stop it. Please stop it. Man's about to shoot a okay. I can tell someone's about to beat the shit out of this dude. Right? My bet is Marco or Weevil. I'm assuming. Steady, please stop this. She's just an old lady. Granny! Okay, it's Weevil. Yo, it's Weevil. Oh my god, look at that! Yo, hit this man in the face! Hands off, boy. Stay away from Pappy's home. Captain Rattelli. Really? Ratelli. How many rats? I swear, if he's like a cousin of Nezumi, Captain Nezumi, I'm gonna shit myself laughing. Honestly, I don't know how I'd take it. It would be hilarious, but like so dumb, so dumb. Step away from Pappy's home, Captain Ratelli. Yeah, it's Edward. Wait, that means he wiped out the whole armored division that was after his ass. All those shielded up beasts. Weevil. Warships were meant to hunt down the warlords. Now they've disbanded. We lost all contact with the other squad. He got them all. What strength? He's a bona fide monster. Get back to the ship. We need to wait for backup. This is Sphinx. An ex-warlord just showed up. It's Weevil, requesting immediate assistance. If that big guy hadn't shown up, the village would be toast. What a hero. I'm glad you're all safe, Yoi. This wasn't the end of it, Marco. Who do you think they sent in after that call for backup? No. Wait! Wait! Wait a minute! Wait a minute! Are we about to get a Green Bull Weevil fight? Oh, please, 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 please. None other than Admiral Ryokugu. And he wasn't pulling any punches. They've taken my sweet Weevil away. Get me my Wait a minute. Wait a minute. They've taken... Oh, yo, I'm getting chills. I'm getting chills because this feels like it's rhyming. This feels like it's rhyming with Sabati. Except, instead of a Rescue Ace arc, are we about to have a fucking Rescue Weevil arc? For no reason? Out of nowhere? No. Whitebeard's adoptive son? Whitebeard's blood son? War against the world god. Okay, no, let me read this first. They've taken my sweet Weevil away. Get me my beloved son back. And while you're at it, fork over Newgate's inheritance too. Yeah, she's in tears though. Former member of the Rocks Pirates, self-proclaimed scientist. I'm sorry. Oh, this isn't even funny. This is funny. Yo, what's up, my dude? What's up, Stefan? Yo, former member of the Rocks Pirates, self-proclaimed scientist. I'm sorry. The way Oda is doing Buckin dirty is just actually hilarious, right? Yo, he straight up is saying, right? Again, I find this absolutely hilarious. Everything she claims is self-proclaimed. So he's like he's almost putting a full like layer of discredibility on everything she is. Like self-proclaimed Whitebeard's son, self-proclaimed Whitebeard's lover, self-proclaimed scientist. She has to be the most credible person in the story right now. And I actually find it bloody hilarious. Mad's resident freeloader. Yo, just hanging around with Mads as a token gift girl there. Not even a scientist herself, lol. Yo. she may... Look, with the way that she's been set up so far, she's like, I swear, you know, this is Whitebeard's kid. I'm just saying, Mads may have been playing past the parcel. If you know what I mean. Yo. Mads resident freeloader, Miss Buckingham Stussy. Sent to prison for protecting his father's village. Isn't this tragic? Don't you think our boy has a noble soul? Well, I appreciate you guys protecting this place at least, Yoy. Marco, I can hear it in your tone. You still doubt he's Whitebeards. Well, I know someone who can prove it. Dr. Vegapunk. What's this? Oh! Kizaru! Yo, let's go. Wait. Okay, this is the fleet coming to... Ooh, how are these stories going to intermingle? I'm curious. Kizaru-san, we've prepared snacks and tea for our guest. I'm sure you remember to test for poison, right? Of course, sir. I'll take it to him. Back to your post. Yes, sir. Wait, that's the Gorosei! Wait a fucking second. Hold up. So have you ever met Dr. Vegapunk before? Once, a long time ago. I think what's happening now is truly such a shame. The highest authority in the world, one of the 5 elders... We're getting names. One of the bigwigs finally makes a move. We're getting names. Wait a minute. The highest authority in the world, one of the 5 elders. Saint J. Garcia Saturn. Saturn? Wait a minute. That's an odd name. That is an odd name. Oh. Here's a heads up, but keep reading. There's an extra page at the end. Yeah, so I saw that there's a break. Fucking depressing, but yo, wait. Wait! No. By the way, little trivia. The first introduction of the Gorosei was in chapter 233. 840 chapters ago. And only now we got a name. Yo, we got 840 chapters between them. Yo! Over 20 years from their introduction to a named character. That is wild. But wait. You know how I was saying that it seems like it's rhyming, yeah? Oh, wait a minute. Luffy's gonna punch the Celestial Dragon. Luffy's gonna punch one of the Gorosei. Think about it. Why is he here? No, wait. He's here. Okay, he's here for one of two reasons. Reason number one, he's a figurehead. He's not that strong, but he's here specifically to override the Seraphim. He's here to override the Seraphim, right? Because in the hierarchy, it goes Gorosei, Vegapunk, Sentomaru, anyone with an authority chip. Right? So, I reckon he's either here to stop the Seraphim, or the Gorosei are actually strong because Kizaru was already on the way to Egghead, because we know this because Akainu called them to be like, where's Kizaru at? He's already on the way for the operation to support Rob Lucci. It's just Rob Lucci started shit first. The report went back that Luffy was there. If this Gorosei member joined in after the report of Luffy, if they're actually strong, he's here to try and put down the Sun God. So he's either there to take control of the Seraphim, or he's there to take over and maybe actually be stronger than Kizaru in some capacity and actually fight Luffy. them being strong may be a bit of a stretch, but remember, they had Shanks in their freaking living room, just like, sup, bitch? You ain't gonna do anything. If you do, we'll stop you. Here's my theory on why he's here. The Seraphim Command Order. Yeah, okay. The Seraphim Command Order, how Edison earlier had to go outside to issue a command, meaning Lucci couldn't just Den Mushi call the Gorosei. Meaning the Gorosei is here to override Vegapunk's Seraphim commands. He has to be there in person to issue commands, just like Edison or Lilith. Alternatively, he could be there to also confirm Luffy's Nika Gear 5 form in person with his own eyes. Alright. We have a character associated with the Whitebeard Pirates who is the son of Whitebeard, captured by the Marines with the want to go recover them. So Weevil and Ace are paralleling each other. Weevil and Ace are paralleling each other there. In Egghead, paralleling Sabity, we had Kuma, representing Kuma, Sentomaru, representing Sentomaru, and Kizaru, representing Kizaru. Now we have, and we know that the Gorosei are members of the Celestial Dragons, but they're select few of the Celestial Dragons. By the way, that means we finally get another name, another named family in the Celestial Dragons other than Don Quixote. So, do you think Weevil might be a clone himself? Yeah, so I've talked about this in previous, as it with Whitebeard's DNA, but not his biological son. Yeah, so I talked about this last stream, and I've done a video or two of it on TikTok as well, right? By the way, if you ever want to follow me on any of that stuff, there's the link tree in the description down below. It's got my Twitter, my Twitch. I don't use the both of them too often at the moment, but I've got to get more involved in them. But it also has my Discord, where you can talk anything anime and manga related, right? It's got my TikTok, where I've been doing regular content on there, and obviously my YouTube, right? So if you want to check that stuff out, do it. You might hear stuff that I talk about only on a specific platform in those other places, right? Like at the moment, I've been doing a reread through of One Piece, and I'm doing a series on TikTok called Underrated One Piece Feats, where I talk about like batches of chapters and all the underrated, like really crazy stuff that's happening in them, right? As for the Whitebeard and Weevil connection, I think it's one of two things. Either Weevil is a failed clone of Whitebeard, just how Stussy is a successful clone of Buckin, right? That could be because... Oh, I'm actually starting to form a new theory on that, so I'll put that to the side and I'll come back to that one. Here's my other theory. Weevil is a clone of Whitebeard, but because Miss Buckin wasn't good at cloning, she mixed DNA of someone else to make up for the fact that she was, like, damaging DNA. And so Weevil is a mixture of two people. One person I don't think we've seen, and I reckon that person may be another member of the Rocks Pirates, whether that's Wang Ji or Silver Axe or whatever, right? But the other one is clearly Whitebeard, hence why Bucking consistently says Whitebeard's DNA. Weevil has Whitebeard's DNA. He has Whitebeard's blood. She's specifically stated that. And although she's very up in the air for credibility, I think that one thing is the one hill that she would die on because it's the one thing that is actually true. The other theory, back to it now. Back to it. If Weevil is a failed clone of Whitebeard, is that because Weevil was cloned before Stussy? In which case, what is Whitebeard's connections to Mads? Or, and I know this is going to sound really bad, what if Buckin in her youth, despite her looking good, was kind of like Sanji, but for the boys? So she would flirt with the other Rocks Pirates and stuff like that. And she's if Stussy and her abilities, because we see her with Sea Stone, but she still has her wings out, so her wings may not be related to her. She may not have a devil fruit. They may actually be a genetic manipulation. But that genetic manipulation, is that just added to the clone? Or is that something that Buckin also has? Because if it's something that Buckin also has, right? Then Buckin, what we just saw Stussy do to Rob Lucci and Kaku, Buckin could have done that to, say, Whitebeard and took some of his blood. Like, she's Himiga Toga from My Hero Academia. You know, a blood thief. And if that's the case, she could have taken Whitebeard's blood, and then she either tries to get Mads to clone Whitebeard, and it's a failed clone because it's before Stussy, or she tries to clone Whitebeard herself, and because she's a self-proclaimed scientist, because she's a freeloader, it fails, and the clone doesn't come out identical. She left Weevil in his first test tube a little too long, if you know what I'm saying. Let him overcook a bit. Let him go a little bit past his peak. Yo, this is actually wild. Let me go back to the beginning of this chapter. I don't know how in the front cover page, all of them, except for Vegapunk, look younger than they did in all the other cover pages so far. Like, dude, Caesar looks like he's like 14. He looks like he looks like a young German boy. Okay, back in Egghead. Yo, there's the Sunny there. And there's the robot. Making that cut like 100 meters. Which is actually pretty wild. So the Mihawk. I mean, we already saw the Mihawk dude cut an island. Do you reckon Weevil will escape his capture like Kaido? Or will he be rescued by either Marco or somebody else? If it's paralleling... Alright, let me drop to the end of the chapter again. Let's talk about this. If this is paralleling Ace, this could be where we get the Impel Down 2.0 break-in. But the question is it going to be the Straw Hats or not? And I'll tell you what I mean by that, right? Clearly we're in the final saga of the story. Clearly this is paralleling Sabbaty. So the next two arcs would be Amazon Lily and Impel Down. And then Marineford, right? But who's taking the place of the Whitebeard Pirates in this setting? Who's taking the place of, like, the background, long-form, competitive force? I would argue that's the Straw Hats. I would argue that they're going to come in place of Whitebeard from, like, Marineford for the Final War. So if that's the case, someone else may be recruited, whether it's Marco or another Supernova or something like that. We may get a side story of them going to try and save Weevil, resulting in Impel Down Breakout 2.0 with the Revolutionaries. Because remember, even though Ivankov has escaped now, Bon Clay's taken over Ivankov's place in Impel Down as the leader of the New Karma Kingdom, and everyone in New Karma is waiting for orders from Dragon to escape. Except not escape how they escaped pre-time skip. They could arguably just get what's his name? Morley to come and open up the prison and everyone escape under the ocean, under the earth, through like a tunnel system sort of thing, right? The main people in Impel Down at the moment that we should be looking at here, obviously you've got Weevil, who's about to be taken down in the place of Ace, right? You've got Doflamingo in there. No different to how Crocodile was pre-time skip, right? We don't have someone fulfilling like a Jinbei or a Ivankov role per se. I would say Bon Clay fills that Ivankov role in Impel Down for like a post-time skip breakout to a lesser extent. But we don't really have like a Straw Hat related person in Impel Down at the moment. Unless Sabo or Vivi has been caught as well and is down there. Again, that may be trying to draw too much of a direct parallel. But if those people go to Impel Down, and we know it was set up pre-time skip that there's going to be a secondary breakout of Impel Down when the final war starts, right? That could be a sitting time bomb for another organization, if that makes sense. I would say in that situation, what probably would happen is Marco enlists the help of someone, whether it's the Straw Hats or someone else, to go break into Impel Down. In the process of them breaking into Impel Down, the Revolutionaries fulfill the role that Blackbeard did pre-time skip, where they're recruiting their people to escape. As for Amazon Lily, I don't know if we're going to Elbaf personally, since Kid's there. But I would say if there is going to be a time where we go to Elbaf may be the next arc. I just noticed how funny the Weevil Ace parallels really are. Weevil is Whitebeard's biological son, but Marco doesn't care too much. While Ace is Whitebeard's adopted son, but everyone cared about him. Almost like an antithesis. Yeah, no, that's... So, yeah, 100%. You probably worded that much more articulately than I was sort of blabbling on about that there. But in terms of thematical resonance, right, we really have... It's like how George Lucas talks about Star Wars. It rhymes. It's the same story, differently, telling different points and different things, but it rhymes. It's all got the same through line through it. And because of that, the parallels are actually really strong for a lot of these people and characters, if that makes sense. Like you said, with the Weevil and Ace stuff about how they're being perceived by their respective organizations and stuff like that, it's also really funny that Weevil's somewhat seeking validation of his dad and stuff like that, whereas Ace was specifically trying to get out from under his father's shadow, if that makes sense. And we know that Weevil's got a devil fruit, so I'm really interested to see what his devil fruit is, since they're holding on to it so secretly as well. But if we're doing that parallel, I'm gonna say that Luffy is gonna punch one of the Gorosei here in place of the Saint Charlos at Sabri. And if that's the case, if Luffy punches Saint Charlos and say he doesn't beat Kizaru, but they clash against Kizaru for a bit, and then someone somehow, some way helps intervene to just stop the situation. Whether that's because they need to get Saint Saturn medical help or what. And again, that's assuming that he's not like really badass and strong himself. Or even if he is, it may be one of those things where he's not like Saint Charlos, where Luffy punched Saint Charlos and everyone was like, "Oh my god, we need to call an admiral for help." Whereas here, Luffy's like, "Oh, you're one of those disgusting old, people spouting, rhetoric and shit like that. I'm gonna hit you." Luffy hits him, and it turns out Saturn's actually like a beast. He like the exact opposite to Charlos, where Charlos is incompetent. The Gorosei are actually like hyper competent, if that makes sense. Because then that could leave a really interesting situation where it's, say, like Luffy versus Garcia Saturn for a bit, and Luffy and Zoro and Sanji fighting Kizaru for a bit, and maybe they've got to sacrifice. Oh no, but if they get to the point where Saturn's there, the Seraphim will flip again. So we'll see how we're going. True, Ace tried assassinating Whitebeard in the very beginning while Weevil tries to mimic his father. Oh, I hope Luffy punches him. That would be nice. Also, notice how Nico was the god of the freed slaves, and if he punches Saturn in Gorosei form, it parallels Luffy literally freeing slaves in Sabaody. Yes. 100%. 100%. Hang on a second. I'm going to pull up my Twitter here for a second and just see if anyone's talking about... Oh, okay, I'm already seeing Saturn photos. See if anyone's brought up any good points about this chapter, just while I got the chance in that. We're gonna do a live discussion on Sunday. So we'll do another stream on Sunday night, talking about the... Yo, I'm already seeing fan art of Saturn beating the shit out of Luffy. Yeah, that is clean. But yeah, we do our discussions on Sunday nights and that, and it goes for a much longer time where we do a full-on breakdown of the chapter, and people bring up different points and stuff like that about the chapter. Okay. Well, it seems I don't see too much going on right now in terms of about this new chapter. So I don't think a lot of people have had a lot of time to sort of deconstruct what they think about this chapter either. Sorry, if he punches Saturn from the Gorosei in Nika form. Saint Juggy. Okay. Why is he named Saturn? Oh, wait. Wait! The Roman gods. Wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. We've got the Roman gods here. Interesting. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not super well versed on Roman gods, but Saturn being one of the Roman gods, the god of time, like Kronos, would be interesting. Very interesting. What I'm kind of still on the fence about is how Egghead as an arc will end. I assume it won't take too much longer, since Kizaru and Saturn might just be the final opponents of the arc. But will there be a clash, more lore dump? A big escape with Vegapunk, something else entirely? I just can't really picture the ending of all of this. Okay, Stefan. Let's scroll up to the beginning of the chapter, and I can tell you what I reckon is going to happen, right? So all of these events right now are happening on the top of Egghead, yeah? Well, if you go back to page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, 5, 6, 7... Page 8. The one... Okay, if you go to the last page before Sphinx Island, right? I've been talking about this the entire time we've been going through the Egghead arc. When we first got here, the number was 66 on the top. We're now at number 100, and it's been sitting at 100 for a while. The fact that all of the upper stratum is a cloud island means we could escape this island by quite literally moving the entire upper labosphere away. So we could have it so it's almost like Onigashima, where the island starts flying away from the fleet, and then on top of that, when the Straw Hats are trying to get away, we could coup de burst, either the opposite direction or an alternate direction in that. So it could get to a point where Kizaru and Garcia are following Egghead Island as the top stratum moves, and it might be doing weather effects and stuff like that. Like, Nami may be able to control this, since we know Nami has learned the skill of controlling and manipulating Sky Islands during her time skip, right? So if she starts to go, oh, this is just a really big Sky Island, oh sweet, I can do this, right? They may be able to use this to escape from that fleet really easily and somewhat abandon the island somewhere else. Because if the island can just be picked up and moved, then a real question is, where would the island be best moved to? If that makes sense. Right? Because obviously the world government wants to keep the tech that's there. At this point, Vegapunk probably doesn't want to leave the world government that tech. More specifically, Punk Records is there. So the world government would probably purge Punk Records and keep the other tech, which we know Vegapunk doesn't want. Obviously, it being part of his brain. So it probably makes more sense for him to try and take Punk Records and leave it with someone that he finds safe, like maybe Dragon, which could be how we and the Straw Hats meet Dragon in some capacity. Because obviously Vegapunk's asking for safe passage, but safe passage to where? Right? So our next two island destinations, theoretically for us, would be to get Vegapunk somewhere safe. If that makes sense. Including Stussy, right? He already has connections with Dragon. We know Dragon really wants him on his side. And if Vegapunk's able to bring the Labosphere, that technically means he's actually really brought all his funding to Dragon, which is the only reason why Dragon wasn't picked over the world government in the first place by Vegapunk to work for. Like, if Dragon had more money back at Ohara, Vegapunk would work for him. But now that he can't work for the world government, if he goes and joins up with the Revolutionary Army and he's already got all his lab built, all the others have got to do is just supply them with gear, which maybe instead of a heavenly tribute tax, they ask for resources and that to fund the revolutionaries, which also in turn funds Vegapunk. That could be where we drop Vegapunk off there. Alternatively, we could make it to Elbaf, because Elbaf is a safe place to take Vegapunk and leave Vegapunk there. In which case we could catch up with Kid. So I really see it in a split setting, right? Because we should still be traveling with the New World. So if we're still going to travel in the New World, right? Vegapunk may not get off at the next island. He may stay for one or two islands. Luffy, since the revolutionaries have been chased off, Luffy doesn't really seem like he's going to be heading back to Nubaka Queendom anytime soon. And I think that'd be a bit of a letdown in a way for a lot of people. But we also have an idea that maybe Dragon will come after Vegapunk. It is also highly probable that Dragon, knowing what's going to happen to Vegapunk, shows up to try and help. In which case... Alright, let's throw this out here as an idea. Luffy punches Saturn in the face and starts battling against Kizaru, but this time he's not completely overwhelmed by Kizaru. Saturn turns out to be Beast, so Saturn starts fighting Luffy. Zoro and Sanji step in to start fighting Kizaru 2v1. So Sanji's keeping up with Kizaru's speed, Zoro's keeping up with Kizaru's light sword, right? While they're trying to get the Seraphim out the way. While that's happening, we've obviously got the connection to Merijoa, where Bonnie's going to be watching all of Kuma's memories, which we know because it's a wireless transfer of electrical nerve signals, that the memories would still include what the current Kuma is seeing. Even though he's essentially dead, anything that Pacifista PX0 experiences, Bonnie would be able to see right now when she's touching that orb, right? So she's going to see what's happening in Merijoa, which probably means she's also going to see what happened to Sabo Vivi and potentially even see him for the first time, right? If that's the case, while that conflict's happening, if Dragon was on his way to help, what if Dragon comes in place of what Kuma did pre-time skip and separates the Straw Hats and Vegapunk from Kizaru and the Gorosei? Because if Dragon steps in personally and Egghead, the top stratum of Egghead needs to move, you would need a strong wind to get it away from the fleet. Dragon having wind-based abilities gives it a boost to get it moving, while he talks to the Gorosei member partially, while the Gorosei member is trying to order Kizaru to fight him, and we get to see a small clash between Dragon and Kizaru, resulting in Dragon just eventually dipping, Kizaru dipping too, because, I don't know, paralleling pre-time skip. But it causes the rest of us to maybe make their way over to Elbaf as well. Not to specifically catch up with Kid, but to see the man with the burn scar and to actually have that situation arise where... the Straw Hats get Vegapunk to safety at Elbaf with... how am I forgetting his name? Got frozen. Ice time capsule. Saul. Jaguar D. Saul. So if we get Vegapunk over with Jaguar D. Saul, they're safe there. Which, in turn, gets to the next section, which is going to be, if the next arc is Elbaf, what Elbaf might actually end up being, which we don't expect at the moment because we've got all this other crazy shit going on, is 1, the Last Road Poneglyph is at Elbaf, but 2, more importantly, right, you have Kid at Elbaf right now, and Kid technically got the credit from the world government for taking down Big Mom. You have Luffy, however, who has at every step and turn, at every island, befriended every giant with Usopp, right? So, we've got the new giant pirates, a part of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. We've got Dory and Broggy as friends. We've got Oimo and Kashi as friends and that. All the giants that leave Elbaf end up coming back and being like, that Straw Hat dude is a G. So you may have a battle between Luffy and Kid on Elbaf over who will inherit, in a way, the support of the giants. The person that took down Big Mom, the person that the giants hated more than anyone, or Luffy, the person that's actually befriended the giants up until now. And whoever actually gets that support would get the entire military backing of Elbaf, which would essentially be its own Yonko crew in its own right, because we're told they're the strongest nation in the world, full stop. There we go. That was a mouthful. I was thinking if the Gorosei guy manages to overrule the Seraphim command, it just might be Luffy versus Saturn, Zoro and Sanji versus Kizaru, as you said, and the Straw Hat crew versus Seraphim. Ooh, imagine if Dragon interferes here. That would be really cool. Dude, I would be all over it. If Dragon steps in and does what Kuma did pre-time skip, except for a completely different reason, that would be insane. Right? Okay, just something you mentioned earlier. I think I've figured out the Gorosei naming scheme. Do you want to hear it? Yo, shoot me. If you got an idea of what you think the Gorosei naming scheme is, hit me with it. True. Kid beat Big Mom while Luffy befriended them. That's a good point, since Elbaf guys are warriors by heart who settle everything via battle. Yeah. So you've got Kid, who arguably has a better reason for the Giants to follow, because he defeated their, like, what they viewed as the demon of their nation, Big Mom, right? He defeated her in combat. Arguably, it may not be like he defeated her, he TKO'd her, but in their eyes, he defeated her and she's dead. He beat her outright. Meanwhile, Luffy befriends them, right? So it's, do you follow your old culture when everyone in your culture settles things with battles? I mean, it's a whole introduction we got to the Giants with Dorian Broggy, right? Your pride as a warrior of Elbath supersedes your individual wants and needs. But then we've got Luffy and the new giant pirates and stuff like that. It would be very, very, very interesting and very telling to see Luffy and Kid battle over who gets that control. Take a look at the Gorosei One Piece wiki page. The picture they used mirrors our planets. Okay, hang on. Gorosei wiki. Bingo bango. Are you talking about the one at the top where they're sitting around the table? How? Take a look at the Gorosei One Piece wiki. So from left to right in that picture, oh, yes! Yes! That is it! Then you got Luffy as the sun and Blackbeard as the moon. Oh, that makes way too much sense. That is criminal. That is genuinely criminal how much sense that makes. So you got, from left to right, Mercury, Venus, Earth is Im, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, then Uranus, Neptune, and Pluton as the ancient weapons, Luffy is the sun, Blackbeard is the moon. Oh. Exactly, sun god and the moon too. Yo. And that's why they're called the Elder Stars, because they're celestial bodies, hence celestial dragons. I wonder if there's a star sign in One Piece that's the dragon. That would be very interesting. That would be very interesting indeed. And thus you have all the planets and the sun. Remember, Pluto was a planet before 2006 when Oda came up with the Gorosei. So that might just be a historical leftover thing. Yo, that makes so much sense. Okay. Okay. Would that mean then, because this guy's Saturn, right? Saint J. Garcia Saturn. The next planet to be discovered, I think, based on the Romans. I'm not too sure about this because I'm not really good. I did a little bit of astrophysics and that. Jupiter, because it's one of the bigger ones, so it's more visible. So I think if the next Gorosei member we meet is Jupiter, Saint blah 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 Jupiter, that would make a lot of sense. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. You're on the money on that. Oh! What is with all this? Yo! You've got the ancient weapons, Neptune, Pluton, Uranus. You've got Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury, Mars, and Venus, right? The Sun and the Moon with Luffy and Blackbeard. The Supernova. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's all coming together. It's all coming together. Saturn sits on the far right, and then Mercury would be on the far left in that picture. Okay, I found on Twitter. Oh, okay. Here we go. I'll bring this up. This is from Twitter. Where's me frame? Screen blurs. So this is what we're saying here. We've got Saturn on the right. Jupiter would be the next one introduced, which would be that tall, lanky bugger. Then Mars, Venus, and Mercury. And they're sitting in the order that the planets would be around the sun. This is actually... in a room, surrounded with naught but gold and what looks like stars mounted everywhere. By the way, in the Japanese, all of our solar system planets have the kanji for star in it, as in Neptune is called Northern King Star. Dude. The way all of this is coming together is so messed up. And wouldn't that mean Venus is the god of war? The god of war being based on Gandhi? A supernova when a star explodes. Luffy is the sun, the star. And the supernova were his rivals that challenged him, i.e. could make him explode. If this ends up being true, I'm sorry. Oda denialists, get out. The door's out there. People that are like, oh, you know, he hasn't thought that hard about this or that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, right? But the naming scheme in this alone is more in depth than most people's mangas. Oh. Yo, I've been going for over an hour. I'm going to wrap the stream up here, right? Or in the next couple of minutes. Follow me, subscribe, hit the bell icon for more notifications of content like this. Give the video a thumbs up. I will be back on Sunday doing the in-depth live discussion about this chapter. Okay? Mars is a god of war, no? I think Venus' beauty might be reflected in how the guy is the only one wearing a pretty white outfit. Is it? Wait. Roman god of war. I think you are right. Yeah, I think you are right. It was Mars. That is the god of war. Hang on, let's go through these before we wrap up. Roman god Jupiter. Jupiter was a sky god who Romans believe oversaw all aspects of life. He is thought to have originated from the Greek god Zeus. Jupiter also concentrated on protecting the Roman state. Military commanders would pay homage to Jupiter at his temple after winning a battle. So he's the guy that looks over life. Mars is obviously war. What's Venus? I've got to do a whole checkup on this stuff. Ooh. Apparently I've been moving myself around without realizing it. That's embarrassing. Oh no, don't go too far. Don't go too far! There we go. Oh, that was silly. Hang on one second. There we go. That's better. Oh, that was silly. Alright. Venus. Worship of Aphrodite continued through the Roman period, known as Venus. She came to symbolize Rome's imperial power. Like her Greek counterpart Aphrodite, Venus was intimately associated with love and beauty, yet other elements were distinctive to the Roman goddess. Okay. And Mercury. The Greek god Hermes was the god of translators and interpreters. He was the most clever of the Olympian gods and served as the messenger for all other gods. He ruled over wealth, good fortune, commerce, fertility, and thrivery. Okay. So we got the god of time. We've got the god of time, god of order, god of war, god of beauty, and the god of... Oh god, what was Mercury again? Translations and interpretations. Okay, bringing this to a one-piece situation, right? You've got the bookkeeper of the world government, right? You got the guy that's in charge of how they organize their history. You've got Jupiter, the guy that's in charge of the heavenly tribute tax and keeping the commerce alive for them. You've got Mars, right? The one that is the most expected to organize war or to have like that military mindset. You got Venus, the god of beauty, which would be the god, which he would represent he would be representing the world perception of the Marines and world government, weighing up what's more important to keep us saving face. Sort of like what Akiyuna was talking about with Doflamingo, right? And then you got Mercury, who's sort of like the translator, the interpreter of Im's will, right? But also maybe the person that can sort of spin the law to benefit them and stuff like that, and may also be the person that's most quick acting, since they talked about Mercury's speed. By extension, that would mean all the Gorosei plus Imu have powers rivaling the ancient weapons, since they all share the same line of naming. I would say we saw that considering Im blew up the Lucia Kingdom. Wouldn't you? Wiping out an entire country off the face of the earth in like a split second. To me, that definitely is a power that rivals an ancient weapon there. Damn wild. Okay. Look, I'm going to wrap the stream up there. This was an insane chapter. I'm going to need to process so much information about this chapter over the next couple of days. We're going to do the live discussion on Sunday, I'm pretty sure. You'll get a notification. Remember, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for more notifications for content like this. Give the video a thumbs up and all that good stuff. And now that you have peace, nothing but love, nothing but respect, have a damn good day. This was a mind-boggling chapter, and I cannot wait to talk about it more. All right, thank you for coming by. Stefani, thank you for the conversation today, and thank you for some of the excellent points you brought up. All right, that being said, peace. Have a damn good day until the next chapter of One Piece, until the next video of mine that you do, or until the live discussion, whatever it is you're here for. Have a damn good day.